my worship, my life. By the message of this morning, we are trying to create in us the consciousness of worship. We are trying to make us know that worship does not end in the church like this after we have taken time to sing songs unto the Lord. Worship is not a weekly activity. It's not monthly. But worship is a daily affair. By this, we will be made to understand that worship is not optional. It is mandatory, obligatory. Because there is no human being that can say, I don't worship. If you are not worshiping God, you are worshiping other thing that is not God. And so, if worship is part of our life, we will now begin to understand that worship has to do with anything that we do that brings glory to God. We begin to understand that worship includes our body, our soul, and our spirit. We will not see worship as only when we come together on the first Sunday of the month and then we are just singing songs of worship. You begin to understand that your life is based on worship. My life is based on worship. You begin to understand that anything you do in life can be turned into worship. The psalmist says, I will bless the Lord at all times. The psalmist was not saying once in a week, once in a month. The psalmist says at all times. That is a wonderful understanding of what worship is all about. Worship is not a one-time event. It's not a one-time happening. Worship is a lifetime experience. What we do on a daily basis, not at times, but all the time. That was why the psalmist says, I will bless the Lord at all times. No time that is not convenient for us to bless God. There is no time that we can say, no. This is not a good time to bless God. No time. Some may begin to ask, what of when you are going through pain, when you are going through sorrow, when you are going through challenge, should I still bless God? That is when you should bless God the more. The psalmist says, I will bless the Lord at all times. Now, why was he saying it? He understood the meaning of worship. At the time you say you are not going to bless God in your worship, you are blessing another thing outside God. If you say, oh, I am going through this pain, I don't think I can bless God, you are blessing Satan that has put you on subject to that pain. So, anytime in life, you are worshiping one thing or the other. There is no saying that, oh, no, I'm not worshiping. No. In your actions, you are doing worship. In your words, you are doing worship. In the thought of your heart, you are what? Rendering worship. And so, the psalmist says, all the time, I will bless the Lord. All the time is convenient for me to bless the Lord. All the time is the right time for me to bless the Lord. Whether in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night, all the time is what is convenient for me to what? To bless the Lord. At the time Job was saying, when he was afflicted, he said, do you only expect good things from the Lord and don't also expect the opposite from him? God has not called us to bless him only when we are enjoying good things. He has not called us to bless him only when we are in good health. my head is good. I feel good. That is not only the time God asks you to bless Him. Your worship to the Lord is not based on your feeling. Oh, I came to church today. I don't just feel like clapping my hands. No, today I don't know what happened. My body did not just move me to dance. No, that's not worship. Worship is not based on what you feel. I feel my body is doing me one kind. So because of that, I'm not my usual self that should worship God. No, that is not worship. Worship is not based on how your body is doing you. Worship is what God has commanded. We were created to worship Him. We were created to adore Him. We were created to give Him honor and glory. So it's not based on the way you feel. Worship is not based on God because God has answered your prayers or because God has not answered your prayers. You see, last month I just danced unto the Lord because He answered my prayer. This month I have not seen any answer, so I want to wait first. That is not worship. It's not based on answers to your prayers. It's not based on whether God gave you a miracle yesterday and He gave you one again today. Worship is not based on that. You must understand that you were created. I was created to worship God. God did not say, oh, until when you are 40 years old, you start worshiping me. The moment God gave you life, you started breathing in your mother's womb. That was when you were called to worship this God. You were called to honor Him. You were called to give Him glory. The psalmist says, praise shall continually be in my mouth. It means our worship to the Lord is a continuous something. Some of us only sing to the Lord when we are in church. We are not in church, we don't sing. Nobody has ever had you singing before. In your neighborhood, they have never had you once. They have never. But when you are in church, you are a good singer. When you are outside church, you don't sing unto Him. That is not worship. Worship is inside the church, outside the church. That is worship. That is why the psalmist said, His praise shall continually be in my mouth. You have to be conscious of God in the words of your mouth. Anything you say with your mouth can become an act of worship. So what do you say with your mouth? Can God receive that as worship from you? For example, if you curse another person, you are mad, you are crazy, idol will kill you. Can that become an act of worship to God? Can God accept that as worship from you? When you say words that don't build, words that destroy, can that become an act of worship? When you run your neighbors down with your mouth, when you paint your neighbors black with your mouth, do you see that as an act of worship? Can God accept that as an act of worship? When you use your mouth to say things you are not supposed to say as a child of God, that cannot be an act of worship.